Okay. Everything looks like it'll go. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hodge, an angel warrior of the Midwest and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman, who has given us the Injil, the gospel of revelations, with the Injil key that gives us the understanding of the unsealed scriptures. This is update with Malik Hodge, where we take current events and give the understanding of them through the Injil perspective. On this August 17th, this is where we make the understanding of each topic, each event, and give you the understanding from the unsealed scriptures of how it fits with the time, today's time. Excuse me. So let us begin. Right. Keep this on hand. What's going on? Okay. There we go. All right. Let's keep this on hand. Our first topic is White House faces pressure from activists to accelerate rollout of monkeypox treatments and vaccines. Biden administration health officials said Wednesday they would accelerate access to vaccines and treatments for monkeypox as the White House combats criticism that it has presided over a slow-footed and error-prone response to an outbreak that has largely affected men who have sex with men. So the administration will make 1.8 million additional doses of the two-dose the two-dose Jennings is Jennings Jynneos Jennings vaccine. Excuse me. Excuse me. And 50,000 courses of TPOXX, the only antiviral being used for treating the disease, available to state and local governments. In addition, the CDC said it will launch a pilot program to make 50,000 vaccine doses available at events with high attendance of gay and homosexual men. Southern Decay. What is that? Southern Decadence, often compared to gay Mardi Gras in New Orleans and Black Pride Black Pride in Alabama are both set to begin in next 3 weeks, and officials argue that the new outbreak efforts could help accentuate the sharp racial inequities seen so far in the virus spread and access to vaccines and testing. Read. Got the ink glasses. However, they're sharing that, the activists has came out, the gay activists, the health activists, and putting pressure on the Biden administration to get something to get the vaccines out and the medicines that cures monkeypox. There's one case of it passing to a dog. Which is, as they keep sharing, an outbreak, this disease outbreak is in the gay, queer, and transgender community. Men having sex with men. However, this has become a normality, a normal thing. So they're bracing for these huge event where they go, where the gays and queers have these events where I guess they just go ham or go, it, this is what they go for, sex, to um carry out their sexual desires on each other. And they keep speaking about this. I mean, they let you know that it's a gay, queer, sexual community. Like, this is what they do when they get together. It's a sexual event, like butt fucking. Ooh, excuse me. Butt breaking ceremony. And I mean, that's all I can see is they keep coming back to back with all this information and all this. We not getting this, and nobody's getting. But it's a breakout for men having sex with men, and and describes from having anal sex, and then they is describing all these large events coming up where this is, I mean, they're rolling out, they're gonna have 50,000 bags. So justification of these acts. Well, let's move on to our next topic, because it's some it's Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's prepare our next topic. Okay. Hmm. Let me look again. This is it. All right. Okay. Here it is. Oh, this is it. All right. So it's judge orders Justice Department to prepare Trump's affidavit pre the action leans toward disclosure. A federal judge in Florida said Thursday that he is likely to order the release of the key court documents behind be be documents the search behind the search of Donald Trump's behind the search of Donald Trump's home, despite warnings from the Justice Department that its disclosure could irre- irreparably harm ongoing criminal investigations. Radically harm criminal investigations. So, okay. So, um, there it's stating that that this could harm the the judge is considering of releasing some of the information, and the Democrats are sharing that, or the Justice Department is sharing that that could harm because they have informants that will be discovered in the release of any of the information that will harm their case. So, in the event of what's taking place, they are trying to bring a criminal conviction or criminal case against Trump. So it's a battle in court. The judge is saying that he will give on the 25th he's going to give the Justice Department a chance to speak on it. Speak on his decision. However, he's leaning to close uh, information, to close information on that's on the affidavit or That it says the affidavit. However, it's showing the the it's showing the fight or the tug of war in the um justice system. How you have different sides, different approaches, different judges seeing the same thing in different ways, and they're, you know, pulling their power and their authority, and they're putting their authority out to defend it on to use the law to carry out how they see it fit. So this whole thing, if you're looking at it, that they're already see the way that it was brought out. They're speaking on that, the timing. All this was a time. Um, Everything was time. It was they waited till uh, the Congress or senators was uh, um, gone for the month. So it they're showing that the time and um, they're they was probably in the Malargo home 2 months prior to that. They didn't take out a they didn't carry this out then. Yeah, and um the two sides is just fruit um the the two sides are feuding, and you can see the tug of war, and they're going to play um the area it is. It's in the South in the first place, so it's going to be you as you can see that the judges and the, how they got the um, warrant in the first place. The American people on one side is upset, the Republicans. Then the American people on the other side, the Democrats, they're pushing, and it's all an agenda to get there. The Republicans are already sharing that they're trying to build a case, and they're doing anything to try to build a case because they see they don't want, or they see that Donald Trump is going to be a candidate. They to run in 2024, so they really don't want to see that. So that's what that's all about. However, let's move on to our next topic. Because I don't know what's taking place. I think my system is running a little slow, but we're gonna keep it moving. Uh, with my with raising my things up to the computer. However, everything we're gonna keep it moving. This one is okay. Yes, we have to. I'm gonna make sure I get a little bit more of this. Everything just switched on me. What is it? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Rare, powerful thunderstorms bring severe winds to Europe, killing several. A massive storm complex has traveled a nearly 1,000-mile path across Europe, reportedly killing numerous people and causing devastation in the French island of Corsica, 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 and to landmarks in Venice before moving on to inflict major wind damage in parts of Austria and Slovakia. According to Associated Press, at least 5 people in France and 2 in Italy were killed by the wicked storm complex. May qualify as a derecho a particularly damaging windstorm, widespread and long-lived windstorm. 2 children reported were killed by the same long track storm complex in Australia. The storm complex was moving expeditiously fast, enhancing its wind risk. The intense line of storms hit the Corsican capital of Ajaccio on the southwest coast at 8:15 a.m. local time on Thursday. Then marched Cape Course on the northeast. Then reached the Cape Course on the northeast tip around 9:15, according to meteorologists. That is forward speed of roughly 70 miles an hour. So this is they call it a windstorm, and it traveled sound what would be over in America like a a tornado. From what it looks like, they're calling it a complex, a wind like a complex. It sounds more like in words of a tornado, and it moved over 1,000 miles, and it caused a lot major. They said it caused major damages in and out of different countries. So this was a widespread, fast-moving, complex, large tornado type wind that was causing havoc and devastation through for a thousand miles. That is a large that's a large tornado. And with that um okay, there it is. Um with that, they're speaking in these areas, throughout these areas, about the weather, from the massive droughts, from it um being dry, to floods or thunderstorms, and this this massive wind or tornado. They call it, however, they calls it a complex. It's a large wind, um, and they said it went through several different countries, and it took lives and devastated property and homes and things throughout those countries. It just an ongoing um, showing of weathering pattern, and we're going to go right into some more weather stories from there. Um, Weather chaos in the West, high heat, and concerns about fires and floods. Weather alert blanket the West Coast, even much of the rest of the country, even as much as the rest of the country remains relatively quiet weather-wise. All across California and the Pacific Northwest, heat advisories and excessive heat warnings are in place, and temperatures are expected to top 100 degrees in spots. A few dry thunderstorms could bring fire concerns to and in the desert Southwest. There's potential potentials for flooding. The mildstorm of meteorologist chaos is delivering seemingly con- contracted contrasting hazards to one of the most populous corridors of the lower 48, as places like Fresno, Bakersfield, Sacramento, Portland, and Seattle deal with high temperatures 10 or more degrees above what's typical. Tucson, Tucson, Phoenix, and Santa Fe are bracing for excessive rainfall and excessive. Let's see what we. It's an active summertime pattern delivering some high impact results, and it may continue through at least the remainder of the work week. The culprit, a high pressure heat dome parked just east of the Sierra Nevada. It's delivering hot, dry, sinking air in much of the West Coast, while clockwise flow around it is helping scoop a ton of monsoonial moisture into the desert southwest that leads to the feast or famine weather pattern. Some wind up with too much rainfall, while some end up with too much rainfall. Stop. Let's see what happened. Okay, here we are. Okay, here we are. Alright, just while others are drought stricken and moisture starved. So it says this is this high pressure. See, another thing that we always keep sharing, this pressure, this hot pushing down high pressure sits outside of the Sierra and it's pushing down and it's scooping. It's a clockwise wind. It's sharing with you what's taking place. A lower pressure clockwise wind full of moisture is being pulled down into it, which is producing these storms that are giving too much rainfall in places and no rainfall in other places, which is causing massive floods and droughts, or water starving is the word, that areas is starving for moisture. So this is taking place, and these droughts are taking place all over all parts of the world. Is having these droughts, and And as you see these storms and uh, storms in Europe, that 1,000 miles, that's really what they're explaining. They didn't call it a tornado, but in what was described was a tornado that traveled 1,000 miles through different countries. And being that here, if that was here, it would have traveled maybe through several different states. So this tornado, they call it a they call it a complex, a wind complex. So this tornado traveled through 1,000 miles, causing devastation and loss of life. And there's flooding going on in Texas, heat waves in Miami, thunderstorms brewing. It's low pressure cutting through the Midwest, high pressure coming up, and high pressure spots. And like they said, they it's a lot of the weather is it's unprecedented, and it's a consistent pattern that is putting pressure and causing drought, flooding, and destruction all throughout the world, not just in America. Loss of life. Europe has lost thousands of people from the heat. Thousands, not 1,000, thousands. So, just something that, from the engine perspective, how it's shared that this will be taking place in this time. Everything that you're seeing is unprecedented. Every time they speak on this thing, they saying they're setting records. This unprecedented drought, unprecedented fires, flooding, unprecedented flooding, just things that they've never seen before, or and several. Matter of fact, they're saying that these things haven't been seen at this magnitude ever. So we're living in unprecedented times, as we always keep in mind. This is an unprecedented time that we're in. So let us move on to our next topic. And this next topic, let me see where we're at. Oh, we're doing well. I thought we was we're excellent on time to be exact. I sworn that with all the we did. Let's see before we go there. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So wait a minute. All right. This is we'll speak on it. Just um, something I was looking at. Um, I'm gonna go on and do it. Um, um, where California cliffs are collapsing into the sea the fastest. A new study pinpoints erosion hotspots along entire California coast and found that cliffs in Northern California are disappearing the fastest. Cliffs among California northernmost coast have been eroding faster than the more populated bluffs of Southern California. One of the many conclusions highlighted in the new map and study that analyzed for the first time with high resolution data every cliff along the state long and very shoreline. The study conducted by researchers at UC San Diego Scripps Institution of Oceanography also identified hotspots in areas both north and south. The rate of cliff collapse were more than 16 foot per year in places such as Paleogen, Valdez Peninsula, Big Sur Point, Argilo, and Martins Beach, just south of San Francisco. Overall, the highest rates of erosions were detected in the countries of Mendocino and Humboldt and North Del North hotspots. There include Usal Beach, the King Range, Centerville Beach, which are all parts of region known as the Low Coast, and an area above 2 miles north of Klamath River. So the consequences of the cliff, excuse me. Okay. The consequences of the cliff erosion have already proven to be severe on major roads, roadways, and other critical infrastructures, and coastal officials have increasingly turned to scientists for help. A recent cliff collapse that killed 3 women has also intensified the pressure to better understanding this hazard looming over much of California's coast. So, the heat, extreme, basically the extreme heat, and the changing of weather is eroding the shorelines. In the report, they also detailed several areas and that the cliffs had fell from, and they're seeing rapid, more rapid cliff cliff falling, to basically saying that the cliff is falling, which if you the cliff is just not falling, the cliff, you're talking about roadways, and the cliffs have roadways on them, and they're witnessing this, the cliffs falling, um, deteriorating, and so which is causing the cliffs to fall. So it's just patterns that are coming with the weather, extreme weather, and weather change and climate change. But we're gonna leave that there. Just something I was just looking at and caught my attention. So I shared it. Them two things is on two different times. However, we're pushing the time now. I'm looking at. Okay. So let us get to this next report. I wouldn't even put that one in there. That was a time related topic if we had time, but now it is okay. Let's get to our last topic that okay. Okay. There it is. All right. Hey, a renewed Iran nuclear deal appears closer than ever. Here are the final sticking points. Our Iranian negotiators team advisors Mohammed Marandi said on Monday that we're closer than we're been before to securing a deal, and that the remaining issues are not very difficult to resolve. The Biden administration says it's ready to sign a deal quickly if Iran accepts it. Three major sticking points remain, however. Iran appears most optimistic it's been in years about finally clinching an agreement on renewed version of the 2015 nuclear deal with the U.S. and other foreign powers. Iranian negotiator team advisor Mohammed Marandi said on Monday that said on Monday that we're closer than we've been before in securing and that the remaining issues are not very difficult to resolve, and the European Union's final check proposal for the deal submitted last week has been approved by the U.S., which says it's ready to quickly seal the agreement if Iran accepts it. Still, there are obstacles to rescuing the Obama-era pact with limited sanctions on Iran in exchange for a range of limits on its nuclear program. Iranian negotiators responded to the EU's proposal, pointing out the remaining issues that may yet prove impossible to reconcile. And the stakes are high. The more time goes by, the more Iranian progresses in the advancement of the nuclear technology, far beyond the scope of what the UN nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, and the 2015 deal original signatories say is acceptable. That could risk triggering an all-out war in the Middle East, as Israel has threatened military actions against Iran if it develops nuclear weapon capabilities. Already in the spring of 2021, IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi said of Iran that only continues making bombs or reacting this level of nuclear enrichment. With a revived nuclear deal, the U.S. and the deal's other signatories, France, the UK, Germany, China, and Russia, known collectively of the P5+1, aim to contain the nuclear program and prevent what many warn could be a nuclear weapon crisis. Iran maintained that its aims are peaceful and that its actions fall within the country's sovereign rights. Three main sticking points remain. Iran wants the Biden administration to remove its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps from this designated terrorism list, which so far Washington seems unwilling to do. It also wants a guarantee that the deal will be binding regardless of future U.S. administration. Biden cannot legally guarantee that. And the reality remains that another administration could cancel my deal, just as former President Donald Trump did. The third item is long-running investigation by the IAEA into traces of uranium found at times of Iran's undeclared nuclear sites several years ago. Tehran wants it shut down, something the agency itself, as well as Western governments, are opposed to. The regime appears to have found a winning formula, widening its nuclear footprint while narrowing the inspection and monitoring regime. The U.S. doesn't seem to have much patience with Tehran demands, with State Department spokesperson Ned Price saying this week that the only way to achieve a mutual return to compliance with the JCPOA is for Iran to drop further unacceptable demands that go beyond the scope of the JCPOA. We have long called this demand extraordinary. So this, you heard it, they are stating that they're so close to this deal. From the angel perspective, from the unsealed scriptures, Iran is not going to sign this deal. Iran is not going to re-sign the JCPOA. They will go to war. Who will sign a deal that you can't give them agreement? Who's going to sign a deal that you have their military on the terror list? That's their military. You have their military for their country on a terror list, so you can forever disconnect their military from their country, and you can, their terror, they always, you can always attack them. However, the main issue is America cannot even give them insurance that these things won't be changed. They can't do it. They said they can't do it. However, they can turn and tell Taiwan they can give them a treaty. They can give them a trade treaty. Now, that's a promise that, that can be made, in the next group or the next president can't just come in and just change that. However, they want to keep up. Iran's not signing it. That's just it. They want Iran to keep, they want to be able to keep to process an order of trying to convict them on old cases that will keep some type of restrictions against them that would affect them and what they're doing, and affect the still bring in things that will affect sanctions, certain sanctions to still take place from things that happened prior in the past that they still want to prosecute. Then they don't want to give them no insurance that the deal that the next administration can't change it, and more than likely the Donald Trump is coming back in. It will be coming back in. Or in any event in the next um the next election, president election, that the administration change could change it. None of these things, they're not willing to give Iran, but they're willing to say, if you sign, they're willing, we're gonna rush. They're telling you gonna rush and sign it if they agree to this. Nobody's a dummy. The Andrew shares it, they're not gonna sign it. The three things that you hear of why, these are three major, they pointed out three major, they act like these are three small things. No, three major things that they see that is going to keep this agreement from being signed. And anybody in their right mind, for the people that they're lost, the scientists that have been murdered, the scientists that have been assassinated in their homes, in their cars, the military, and all the people that has put their lives and lost their lives in making this happen for the country, and they just gonna give it up. That's just disrespectful to everything. They don't get no security, no insurance, that you're not gonna change. You can't, you won't put it through the Senate, or it's not gonna pass. So you already know that this is not, no one would sign that agreement. So to keep it up from the Angel Stater point of view, they have to answer sooner than later. And from the Angel Stater point of view, they're not going to sign the JCPOA that they have in front of them. So it's going to produce a war in soon. So I mean, the war, that's from the Angel standpoint, that's going to trigger the war in the Middle East, the war in heaven. So with that, I'm gonna bring this to a close. Let me see where we're at. And before I bring this to a close, we always have to go around, bring our the 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 government issue with Donald Trump. You can see from an interstate point of view that it's a tug of war going on in America. They're using the laws one way, one person, one side is using the laws another way. It's an impasse in the system that they're fighting and trying to use the laws to attack each other. So the infrastructure is pressure. They're being pressured from the inside out. You got pressure from constant weather problems, constant destruction, constant loss of life, monkeypox. Man, I didn't read that. Monkeypox situation. Then they have an outbreak of E. coli in Michigan and Ohio. Then Lou Gehrig's polio all these diseases just popping back up. I'm not gonna, but all these things taking place. However, um, it all boils down to what's taking place. It's time of unprecedented trouble, uh, heat, weather, uh, just constantly putting pressure on the system, pressure on the country, pressure inside and out. Um, didn't speak about China today. However, uh, this nuclear deal with Iran, we're in this period of time or at this crossroads of the JCPOA, which is an event that is set by the NGO to take place. This event is what causes the war in the Middle East, is the unsigning of this JCPOA that Iran is not going to sign. Iran is not going back up under the foot of the nations, and which is this non-compliance with this nuclear deal, the 2015 nuclear deal, not going back under, is going to cause the war in the Middle East, which Michael and his angels, Rashfar Muhammad, and Iran and Syria will go to war with the dragon and his angels, which is the House of Side, Britain and America, and false Israel. Britain and Michael and his angel is going to kick Britain and America out of the Middle East. Michael being master for Muhammad, and they're going to kick the House of Saud out of the land of Saudi Arabia, and they're going to siege and destroy false Israel. And that is the abomination of desolation in the scriptures. It's also the shock of the hour, because the whole world is going to be shocked to see what has taken place, to see that Iran and Syria has taken possession of the whole Middle East, kicking Britain and America out of it, sieging false Israel and destroying it. And it's going to open up the eyes and shock minds. Heads going to blow off. Hearts are going to fail. Strokes, aneurysms, blood clots, all kind of things are going to take place from shock that, America's not going to believe. People around the world is not going to believe that it happened, and which is going to open their eyes and make all people know, all nations know, that who the true seed of Abraham is. Black men and women of America. And this is this abomination of desolation, the shock of the hour. This war in the Middle East is going to trigger the war of Armageddon, the European war, immediately after it. So this is a point, opportunity in time. Well, it's a pivotal point in time, an event that is going to change the world and should change your reality, your thinking, your mind about the NGO, about the truth, about what's taking place. And it's also an event that is going to spark this war, and really things is going to ignite so fast, brothers and sisters. You really have to have to um, pay attention, and you're going to have to uh, move very expeditiously uh, in your growth and development and understanding of what's taking place, because you're being misled and our people's going to lose their life for the lack of knowledge, and a lot of our people are going to lose their life for what's being shared to you by those that are keeping you away from the truth. Now, I'm gonna bring this segment of update with Malik Hodge to a close. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, and 9 o'clock Pacific. And with that, I'm going to greet you as I came in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. That's my time spent.